I never didn't believe in Bigfoot. I never believed in it. I didn't believe in it. I never gave it any thought.
They kept wood knocking back and forth to each other, and it was in a pattern.
Barn owls don't typically throw rocks.
I come across these tracks.
Sasquatch is still not on my mind.
Glad to see the voice of the intro is back. Randy Bauer from Minnesota and Michael Quast. Mike, what is your book name for the people listening at home?
Sasquatch Central High Strangeness at a Northern Minnesota Homestead. And,
I just wish you could have got a longer title on. Did you run out of ink? I couldn't think of it a while ago. I was trying to write the description, so I will just let him tell it when he gets here. So yeah, if those of us don't know, Randy's a returning guest. He has a farm in Minnesota full of Sasquatch, lots of strange things happening. I mean, the Gambit, Skinwalker Ranch kind of stuff. He and I have been friends for a year or so now, year and a half, and Mike wrote a book on his place, so we're all here, sort of a yearly catch up. Randy's been busy this year. He's got new friends that he likes better than me. It's because they're good looking women. Can't blame him. So let's get started, Randy. What's the scoop? What's been happening?
Okay, let's see here. I'll kind of start from this summer.
Oh yeah.
I'm a musician and I have a sound company where I provide production for concerts, speakers, lights, and a whole deal. And I bought this little camper because when I'm doing an outdoor festival, I don't want to go to a motel. I need to stay by the stage. And camper was parked up by the woods line. And Samantha, that's my wife's daughter, and the grandkids wanted to stay in it. But they didn't want it parked up by the woods line because they have seen Sasquatch before, and they're a little bit scared of the situation. Mm-hmm. So I moved it down, the door facing north by our garage. When I got it all moved, I told Terry, that's my wife, come on out here, Terry. I got the camper parked right. And we're talking about the door. And she said, no, I think you got it wrong. And I said, no, I got it right. She wants it facing away from those woods and facing towards the garage. And so got it all said and done. I went over to my daughter's house mowing with the big tractor in their pasture. A couple hours I come back. Terry says they were outside and they heard a large bang, and it scared the dog. The dog pulled her in the house, and her son Tanner and the other dogs heard it too. So I'm looking around on our new garage here and I don't see anything. I go by the camper right by the door, about that big around. There's a big dent in it by the side of the door. Wham! That's what they hit. They hit the door. There was never no dents in that camper. No, I don't give opinions, because to me, opinions are guessing. But if I had to give an opinion on that, they were letting us know, because we were talking about the door. It doesn't matter where you put the door, we could still hit it. Mm-hmm. And they did. And a few days later, Samantha and the two grandkids, are sleeping in the camper. Now, what happens when you take a camper off the back of a pickup? You crank it off, you put it on a block, and you crank it down so it's level, correct? Mm-hmm. And about 2 or 3 in the morning, they get woke up with something banging in the back of the camper and shaking the camper back and forth like this here. They shook it so hard, they took the jacket and knocked it right off the block, and it was down into the dirt. And when I went out there and they're telling me about it, and I'm looking at it, there was a bunch of knuckle marks in the back of the camper, a bunch of them on the back and on the side of it. So here's what I said. I said, I always say you guys, whether male or female. I say, okay, you guys, I like what you've been doing. Come up to the house, keep hitting the house, have fun, do your thing, but quit hitting the camper. You're putting dents in it and you're scaring the girls. And ever since that, nothing has happened to that camper since I said that.
So I'm still making payments.
Yeah, I was still making payments then. Actually, but now it's paid off.
Was the tongue in the dirt of the camper?
Yep, right down in.
So it just went like,
Yeah, hard. Yep.
must have been kind of scary because that's like a 2-foot drop.
They were scared.
Mhm.
They were scared. Yep. And in fact, I forgot part of the story. They came in the house and woke us up, said something really happened weird with the camper and all that, and shaking back and forth. I went out there, it's dark out. I can't see nothing until the next day. I seen all the dents.
Gosh.
And they're still there. Bunch of knuckle marks. Oh, like this here, like a knuckle all over the backside of the camper and the side of it. Okay. What else you want to know? Keep going?
Oh, keep going.
If I go too much, stop me and you can let Mike intersect on me.
Oh yeah. I'm just kind of enjoying myself here. It's like 1.5 years worth of catch up.
Yeah. Okay. They listen to me. They do little things that I ask for. Like this last fall, I said, bend some popple saplings over my trail where I have to walk where they're right in my way. And they did. They took 2 of them and bent them over my trail. They're like this here, bent over. There was no storm that night. There was nothing. And there's other little ones around. These were purposely bent. And then I said, oh, great, you guys, you did that. That was good because I talked to them all the time. And then I said, well, bent them over the where I drive the 4-wheeler. And they did. You should see what they did. They got one face. These are about 1 foot apart. One facing east, one facing west, one facing east, one facing west. And they put an X up in a pine tree. Well, and they're still there. I never move the stuff when it's there. I just walk around it. And so that's a good one. I never asked them to do it that way, but that is purposely done.
That was in the documentary, wasn't it? Are you?
Yeah, that was in the documentary.
Yeah.
It was.
Randy, I'm not sure if you've told the story about the lawnmower on this show before.
Oh, I will.
Yeah. There's a lawnmower.
Years ago, everybody's gone from home. We have a big yard. Our lawnmowers, one of our lawnmowers, it's a John Deere 425. The back wheels turn and the front ones do, but it has a steering wheel. After this was all said and done, what I'm going to tell you, I looked it up. It weighs 900 pounds. I get done mowing, go in the house to eat something. I have it parked up by our dog kennel. It's not on no hill or nothing, and it has hydrostatic transmission. If you want to push it, you got to go underneath by the back end of it and pull this little lever out so you can release the transmission. I go and eat something. When I come back out, guess what? I'm only in the house 20 minutes or so. It's about 75 yards away facing north and south. How did it get there? It didn't roll there. We don't have crankers come around our house.
You say 25 yards?
75 yards.
It's like a football field just turning around.
It was quite a ways away. No, I didn't measure it. It's quite a ways away.
That's what I'm saying. Like I'm gonna say it's a long way.
Yeah. And then on the backside of the new garage, there's a bunch of the white finger streaks across the whole backside of the garage. Like they went like that. I'm sure it's the young ones doing it. They're just messing around with me is what it is.
We'll start putting sacks of poop on your porch before you know it.
Oh, no, they haven't done that yet. No.
Light it on fire.
No,
you may have told that on here before. it sounds vaguely familiar, but
yeah,
it's interesting to hear.
No,
that story
can't
made me research how much weight a gorilla is known to be able to lift. I know Sasquatch aren't really apes, literally, but people always equate them with apes. So I just Googled it and found out that a gorilla has been known to pick up and throw well over 1,000 pounds. So I'm sure a Bigfoot would have no problem picking up a lawnmower.
It's like a whole fridge.
Yeah.
Actually, there's more than one of them.
Yeah, there is. What else can I tell you? Do you know about the cougar story? No, you don't. I never told you about it, but you're going to know about it. A few years ago, me and John are sitting in one of my deer stands back there, and nothing really happened that we can really say, We had some noises and stuff, but nothing that I can really tell you about. We got out of the deer stand. We're walking back across under the barbed wire fence.
Yeah,
and
got a fan out there, Pamela.
I see that. Yeah. Okay. And anyways, I always make people bring flashlights at a red beam, not white beam. Even when I go out deer hunting, a red beam scares the deer a lot less than a big old white flashlight. And so we're walking. We got to cross this bridge before we get to it. I'm just joking. I say, wouldn't that be something if I shine a light down there and there's a cougar down there? And we just laughed about it. But I shine the light down there. There's a cougar down there by the river. I thought, what? And it looks at us and it turns around, going to start walking away. Then it turns around and starts walking towards us. And I always bring a pistol with me, not to shoot no Sasquatch. I'll never do that or anything else, but it's better to have a gun with you and not use it than not have it and need it. I can't protect myself from a cougar or ornery timber wolf, whatever. So it starts walking towards us, and I thought, oh my God, I better get my gun out. I start reaching, pull it out a little bit. And not that I'm going to shoot the cougar, I would shoot by it or whatever. Start pulling it out, and all of a sudden a log comes flying at us across from the river. Now, what can throw a log at us? Ain't no bear does that. Okay, the reason I'm telling you this story, because when the sheep squatchers were here, they were doing their remote viewing and the things that they can do. And I never told them about that cougar story. Not once did I ever mention it. The one Tammy said, oh yeah, I just seen one of your Sasquatches there and they got a friend. I said, well, what's a friend? She said, he's got a friend and it's a cougar. They did not know about my cougar story. So that now I know why they threw a log at us. It was probably protecting the cougar to get the cougar out of there.
Yeah, don't shoot my friend.
Yeah, probably, yeah. Now, people ask me why I don't sit in deer stands overnight because I don't know what I'm getting myself into. Even I'm not scared of them, but I don't know what I'm getting myself into. But this last fall, there's leaves all over the ground back by one of my gifting areas. And I got a deer stand kind of in an open area. I got done doing my peanut butter thing. I get to that deer stand and I say, hey, I'm going to set up here in this deer stand and I want you to come to me. And I want to learn about you. Whatever you want to tell me, whatever. I said a bunch of, I just ramble on, say stuff. Well, I'm sitting there 5 minutes or whatever, all of a sudden I get overwhelming of dizziness. I get totally dizzy. My eyes go out of focus. I say, what the heck? So I go down like this. Anyways, the deer stand, the plywood is 9.5 feet up, and I'm sitting in a chair, so my head's poking out. So I go down like this here for a little bit. I get up again. Oh my God, I'm still dizzy. Eyes are blurry. I go down again. All of a sudden, there's a footstep right by the stand. I look up. There's a Sasquatch right there. I could have poked a cheek because they're that close to me. And I look at it like this here. It takes another step. I go like that, and then it disappeared. Gone. Just like that. It didn't walk off because if it would have walked off, I'd have heard the footsteps in the leaves. The whole area was full of crunchy leaves. It disappeared just like that.
How tall do you think that it was?
10.5 foot.
10.5?
It was a foot taller than my 9.5 foot.
Okay. Yeah, because usually you buy those ladder stands, they're one length. So
no. I don't buy ladder stands. I make them.
Oh yeah, that's right. I know what yours look like. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, they're not that great, but they work.
Hey, I've said in worse.
Yeah. And I have a chair in there, and
3 guys encountered a canoe. Heard big splashes of throwing rocks.
Oh, I've had that before.
This
last fall, there 10 times I don't think they were throwing rocks. I don't know what they were doing, but 10 splashes in the river by us. Me and Tanner, great son, listened to it, and it wasn't a beaver tail slap. That's a slap. This was like a cannonball splash,
like sploosh.
No, like
sploosh.
Big, big. 10 times. The night before that was 9 times. So I don't know what they're doing. They jump into the water. I don't know what they're doing. The river ain't that deep.
Yeah.
No.
So I was going to ask you. So did you see it disappear, or it was gone when you looked back up?
No. You didn't get it. I heard the step. I looked up. I seen it. I could have touched it.
You saw it. Yeah.
I seen it plain as day. And then it took another step. I turned my head to watch it, and then whoop, disappeared like magic.
Oh, so you saw it go?
I seen it disappear. Yeah.
Oh.
I didn't step behind a tree, and I didn't see it. It disappeared. Because that's what they can do. There's no such thing as woo about Sasquatch. The woo people put a handle on Sasquatch as a woo thing because that's the ones that maybe seen them and it went in the woods, and that's a handle they're putting on them. That's what they've always can do. That's what they can do. That's normal for them. Because I'm going to be the first to say, yes, they are flesh and blood. They leave tracks. They leave hair. All that stuff. That is true. They are, but they're more than that. They're interdimensional. And there will never be no worldly evidence of Sasquatch. There won't never be a body found because they don't live here on Earth. Now, I'll get into all that now. First of all,
right, we're ready.
I'll do my first mind speak. I've had other ones, but I've had 2 of them this last year that were plain as day. Mindspeak is not like a roaring, thundering thing, voice in your head. It's like all of a sudden, you've been told, and it's like clear as a bell, as clear as me and you talking, even though you're in Alabama and I'm in Minnesota. That clear.
Yeah.
Okay, I got to talk about my deer skulls first. I got 40 some deer skulls that have been given to me. I know they've been given to me because they'll be on my deck of my house. They'll be on my deer stand. I'll walk in the woods, come back the same trail. There'll be a deer skull there. I got 8-point bucks, 6-pointers, spike bucks, fawns, does, little teeny bucks that don't even have horns yet, but you can see where the horns would be. Now, for any deer hunters that people that don't know, that don't hunt, in the wintertime, a buck will drop its antlers. They'll drop off so they can grow new ones. And porcupines, squirrels, whatever, chew on them, eat them up. That's why a lot of times you can't find deer sheds, deer antlers in the woods in the spring.
Let me stop. What month do they start doing that up there?
I think around February.
Okay, it's about March here.
February, March. Yeah,
okay.
around that time.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say, is it earlier? That's weird. January, no deer, no antlers. All right, carry on. I was curious.
Yeah. And then if you do find a shed here and there, a lot of them are chewed up on it. You can see where the squirrels or mice have been chewing on them. Well, none of my deer skulls have a mark on them. Some of them are older, yes, but they're perfect. The antlers are perfect. And people ask me, well, that's strange. And I used to say, well, that's because Sasquatch got their smell on them. And that's why. But I was wrong. Last year here, it must have been in late summer or the early fall, I did my peanut butter gifting thing again and decided instead of walking down the power line to go back home, I'll just walk through the woods. Just something different, I'm not even thinking of those deer skulls. They're not even on my mind. And I get close to home, they're all of a sudden pop in my head. Oh my God, I say, I know about those deer skulls now. Here's what it is. Those deer skulls were never laying on earth. They're brought to me as a gift. When they kill deer, they leave nothing but hair. There's times when after deer hunting, I'll go back the next day and I'll find 3 deer that have been killed and there's not a track or nothing. But anyways, they bring those deer skulls to me. They never lay it on earth. They don't sit there and kill a deer and sit there and eat on it like some wild grill or dog or a bobcat or cougar. They take the deer where they can go or we don't know how to go. And they've been bringing those deer skulls back to me as a gift. That is what it is. Okay, here's my second mind speak. About a few weeks later, I had another one, clear as a bell. I talk to them all the time. I still feel dumb talking in the woods and trees, but it's working. I did ask him, can you tell me what you are? Are you interdimensional? All of a sudden pop in my head. And they told me, we are interdimensional. We can cloak. We can turn invisible. We don't live on Earth as you guys do. We come to Earth all the time. We don't live in caves. We don't go to cedar swamps and tamarack swamps when it's 40 below in Minnesota. Yeah, we go to them, but we don't live here. That's why you don't find a body. They've been searching for these things for thousands of years or hundreds of years, and they never really got nothing because they never will, because they're not some dumb ape behind a poplar tree or a pine tree, and you don't get them. That is the truth of the matter. That is the truth, and it makes sense. Anything else doesn't make any sense. They didn't come across the Bering Land Bridge. That is so far from the truth. And what people have to do, I don't do knocking, I don't do whooping, I don't do anything to try to get evidence off them. When I see tracks, I don't take measurements off them and do all this scientific stuff. I don't have to because I know they're real. And the reason I'm getting so much evidence off them because I'm not trying to get evidence off them and they're trusting me. And if people, there will never be worldly evidence for the scientists that they want. But if people want to get evidence, there can be individual evidence, and that will be world evidence. You know what I'm saying? And that is what people have to start doing. I want to educate people on it, whether they believe me or not. I don't know if they will or not, but if they would believe in me, what I'm saying, they'll get a lot farther.
How would you
get in so much going on in my place because I'm not trying to get evidence. when I go out in the woods, I go out in the woods every day when I'm home. And one guy said, Randy, how long are you going to keep doing all that stuff? I'm going to keep doing it till I die, till I can't do it no more. Here's what I do. I go out to my tree. Sometimes I'll do 1 jar, 2 jars. I take the cover off, take the paper off, put the paper back in my pocket, put the cover back on, put it in, I got 2 nails like this here and 2 nails. So I'll put the jar like that. I can't lift my arm, I had shoulder surgery, but I put the jar like that. And then I got some rocks down by the tree. And then I got a eraser board with 2 cars on it, some markers on it. And I just put them in arrangement. Yeah, like that there. Show them the picture. Look at that. Show them the first one. That was yesterday. That was yesterday. Yep. Now look at it. That's just today. I went out there about 3 o'clock. Look at that. And see that little silver white thing there, clear thing? That's a magnet. That does not move by itself. There's that magnet right there. That marker's never, ever been taken off. Now it has been. Because I asked them, hey, I said yesterday, I said, why don't you move this stuff, really move it this time? Well, look at that. That's that way. That's that way. That is intentional, put there. Now, what's that mean? It doesn't mean anything. They're interacting with me. I'm interacting with them. We're just having fun. That's all it means. Doesn't mean nothing. And that's why I'm getting so much, because they're trusting me. I know it sounds crazy. It does. But it's real. They're trusting me. I'm having fun moving that stuff. They're moving it. I take a picture. Like today now, I did a different arrangement. That's no certain thing I do. I just do something. Take a picture of it. I'll come back tomorrow. It'll be all changed. There's never no food at these places. Never.
The cars being flipped over is crazy. It's like some kind of, that's like a signature move there. Like they didn't have to do that.
No.
They would have to be picked up and sit down.
Well, so is that thing there. That's a magnet right there.
Yeah.
It doesn't move. You have to take fingers and pick it up.
That's one of those hard bulletin board magnets.
Yeah, that's what it is.
They're kind of sturdy.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. So I have that there.
It looks like a condom there, not for nothing.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on in the woods with you over there.
Yeah. Let me tell you something else. The other day, or a couple of weeks ago, because I invite them to come up to the house. I'm not scared of them. I say, come on, you guys. And like I say, I always say you guys, whether male or female. Come up, you guys. Come up the house and hit the house again. Well, they hit the house. Woke me and Tanner up. They hit it hard. And that morning, I went out there to look, and there was a bunch of finger streaks. You got that picture? A bunch of finger streaks on the side of my house. Look at that. That's from Sasquatch doing that. Yeah, that's real. And then, what was it, last week? They hit, I say it all the time. Come up to the house and hit. It's not that they hit it every time I say it, because I say it all the time. I said, come up and hit the house again. At 11:30, I get woke up. The dogs get woke up. Tanner gets woke up. They hit the house twice. It like shakes the house. And then show them that picture. They left tracks.
Oh, yeah.
They left more tracks in the snow. There was nothing before this. And I got a video showing there's nothing here. These tracks weren't here the day before that. And when I asked them to hit the house, these were not there.
I wonder if I can find that video, because I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And you said that was a juvenile there.
I'm sure that's a juvenile. Yeah. The tracks aren't.
Those are little bitty tracks.
Yeah, they're littler. Yeah. And I think it's the juveniles that messing with me. And I don't believe, like I say, I don't give opinions, but if I had to, I don't believe they picked that lawnmower up and lifted it. I think they can do something else.
Yeah.
I don't
think
really
they're doing it like,
right.
It's not like the 50s where they lift up the car.
Right. I don't think they did that. But I don't know if they lifted it up and walked with it, I don't know.
I mean,
but when that stuff happens, I just laugh.
Yeah.
I think, boy, you guys got me good on that one. I don't get scared or any of that stuff. But Terry, Tanner, Samantha, they've all seen them. They don't really, Tanner hasn't seen one, but the rest of them, they won't really go out in the woods with me anymore. They're too weirded out, or whatever word you might want to use. They won't go with me at all. I can't talk them into it.
Yeah, imagine it takes a little bit of gumption once you've done it, because it's, for all intents and purposes, it's like seeing a ghost for a person.
Sure, it is. Yeah, and I'm not like I don't know why I have so much. Why it all comes here. I know why I have so much going on now, because they trust me, and I'm going to keep harping on this. I am not trying to get evidence. I won't measure tracks. I'm not going to do any of that. I don't do any cameras at all.
No cameras.
I won't let anybody do any cameras here, because Well, a long time ago, Mr. Doug there asked me to put a camera out in my area there and say, can you give us one picture? And it'll only be for me and for Doug. We won't show it to nobody. Then I said, if you don't ever want cameras ever here again, you got to give me a sign that I can see that you don't want cameras here. And the next day, there's a 15-foot Y stick laying on my camera. And there's no picture of the Y stick going there or no picture of what put it there. I took that as a sign. And since then, I won't do cameras on this 40 acres here.
Yeah. And
go ahead.
You said you do it on the state land, but not the.
I did do it on the state land. I have a picture of a Sasquatch on my camera when we're standing right there, but our eyeballs didn't see it.
Yeah, you got the famous one is that the one at night with its back turned to us.
Yeah, that one there.
That was how did you get that one? I've had a bunch of people ask about it.
How did you get that? Okay,
it was Doug, wasn't it?
I was walking back in those woods back there behind the house, and I come across a fresh deer kill. Only thing taken out was the heart and the liver. And that I said, I'm gonna put a camera on this. And I did, and that's how I got that picture. And then that deer was gone, but it wasn't drug off. There was no drag marks or nothing, no tracks, nothing. It was just gone. Now, if a bear would have got it, I would have seen some kind of drag marks or something. I didn't see nothing. That's how I got that picture.
That was
Mike was at that spot, weren't you, Mike?
Yeah, I spent the night that night, and
yeah,
the next morning the deer was gone. And then we tried to do some measurements to figure out how tall the thing was, and I think you can't see the legs below the bottom of the picture, so we thought it was probably kneeling, and that the head was about 5 feet above the ground, even in a kneeling position. So we thought it was probably the black 10-footer that you've seen so many times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I keep it handy, baby.
You do, don't you? Yeah, that's
I know exactly where this picture is. Look how much it looks like Patty. Look how much it looks like Patty.
Yeah.
Look at that back.
Oh my God, it does, doesn't it?
Remember I sent you this? I was just watching videos one day.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit, it's Patty.
Now when you see that together, it does.
I would like somebody who knows a lot about bears to tell me if an upright black bear is able to pull its front legs back that far to look like elbows.
I've looked at so many pictures of bears walking and none of them do that, especially with that angle of the neck.
Both of those elbows are way back.
It's like he's doing a yoga move almost.
Now, I can tell you another thing that's happened. It's a little bit strange. I had a guy and his friend come here. He's got his own little Bigfoot thing. I don't let everybody come here, but a few people I do. And we're walking back on the state land there, and we hear some really weird cracking noises. And there's some snow on the ground. And we're by the original teepee thing, the big teepee that Mike, it's in the book and all that. But we don't see nothing or anything. And I said, let's keep on walking east. And we come across some blood. It's a deer track. And it is a deer. We know that. We follow that for a couple miles, and we never see nothing. We just see blood on the step, and then we don't see it. Then we see it, and we're coming back again. Decided we followed it enough, and we intersected a bunch of different times. It was kind of weird. And we get back to the teepee there, and I said, let's go over where we heard that sound. And guess what? We found out what that sound was. It's about that long, about 2.5 feet long, of a branch that was stripped of the popple right down. And there's another big branch from a dead branch, not from that tree, laying right by it. That's what we heard. Snow on the ground, not one track. That was one of them Sasquatches were messing with us.
I bet that was loud.
It was loud because it would have been a regular animal. We would have seen tracks. Now, here's something I want to intersect. Maybe it'll make a bit of sense about Sasquatch. Okay, they do find every once in a while undiscovered species animals, right? In Africa or wherever they find them, in the Amazon, right? They do find them once in a while. And here's the key. They're never looking for them because they don't know nothing about them, correct?
Mm-hmm.
They've been looking for Sasquatch for years and years, right? Hundreds of years, right? So it's not and they never find nothing. It's because they're not a big ape hiding behind a tree.
Mhm.
They're more than
Yeah.
that. That's what I'm going to keep preaching because they are.
They love to talk about the Congo mountain gorillas, how they found them. It's two
And they
different
didn't know
things.
nothing, right? And they didn't know nothing about them, but they found them. But they know about Sasquatch, and they're still not finding them.
Pam was asking if you heard if you recorded any vocalizations. I know you heard Samurai speak. You heard Samurai speak in your yard before.
Yeah, it's been through the yard a couple times. One time the guitar player had it, then me and Terry had it. But Mike could even know. Mike's good for remembering stuff for me. Yeah, I got some screams and stuff. Yes, I have.
The ones that Jason and the Minnesota roars, that was from somewhere else, wasn't it?
Yeah, but not very far from here.
Yeah,
not very far from here.
What was you gonna say, Mike?
Oh, it's about 60 miles as the crow flies, near Itasca State Park, where the Mississippi headwaters are.
Oh yeah.
It's in that area.
Yeah, Pam. I don't know if you've seen is it Searching for Sasquatch 10? Jason McKenzie. I mean, sorry, didn't want to dime out his last name, but they do a whole documentary on Randy's place, and it's pretty good. Even though, and there's even a music video interlude in the back.
Yeah.
And Stone says, does Randy think a Bigfoot and a Sasquatch are the same thing? I was going to put like a part 2 to this question. Have you encountered anything other than that, a Bigfoot out there?
I never have encountered anything but that. So
isn't there a dogman sighting north of you, though?
There's a lot of dogman sightings north of me. Oh, no, west of me. West of me there is, but I've never seen nothing like that.
Yeah. I know you've had some
weird sounds in the woods that maybe it was, but I don't know. I never seen it.
He said, how do Bigfoot act during total eclipse?
I don't know.
They act dark. They act dark because it's dark. That's what they do. I know this is Mexico Unexplained just from the text, but it doesn't have his name because of the way Facebook hides people. I can just tell by who it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I spent the whole weekend in a long Land Between the Lakes, and so Dogman is like the thing up there.
That was it?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I think Dogman's like the tactical bro, cryptid. Like you're too cool for school. I don't deal with fat monkeys. I deal with Dogman, werewolf.
No, here's something Mike doesn't know. Last night, Mike, we had some whoop sounds, and me and Terry heard them. She was getting ready to leave for work at about 8:30, and she heard it, and she called me outside, and then I heard it. Like 3 of them, and real long too. First, some coyotes started yipping, and then this long haul. It wasn't a wolf, I know that. It was longer than what a wolf could hold its breath. 3 times.
Was you say a whoop or a howl?
Whoop. A whoop. What long?
How did the Ron Moorhead sounds compare? I know you've heard those.
Perfect. To my sounds, perfect.
Because those things are unnerving to listen to. If you put them in the headphones.
Yeah. The samurai chatter thing was perfect from what I was told. And I never knew nothing about no Sierra sounds when we heard that night. And I called the guy the next day, said, go to the Sierra sounds. That was perfect. Now, I've only heard it that one time back here.
You did a good impression.
Yeah. Now, Mike's got some things to tell, too, about Can you hear some kids in the woods or something? Can you hear voices?
I didn't hear the kid voices, but I've heard what sounds like both male and female voices out there from quite a far distance. That sounds like, well, at the time, I thought it was just people out in the woods calling to each other. Then you told me the next day that, no, there was nobody out there. So
no, we
think they can mimic just about anything they hear, including the human voice, but it's not words that you can make out. It's like their version of human speech. It's like gibberish.
It's like us trying to like make fun of Chinese, or another language, how they would talk.
Yeah, and a couple other things I've heard. There was one night I was sleeping in my car in front of Randy's house, and at about 4 a.m, I woke up a little bit, but I was still sleepy, and I heard right next to the house what sounded like kind of a combination between growling and throat clearing. And then I found out in the morning that Terry had been leaving for work at that same time, and a guy named Brian Glynn that visits a lot had been up in a deer stand all night, and he was just coming out of the woods at that time, and both of them heard it at the same time that I did. Ooh. And then last spring. I'm not sure the exact date, but it was the day when the two guys from the Itasca County Research Group were visiting. I think it was that night. Me and Randy and Tanner were out at his campfire area, and Randy and Tanner went to the house at around 10 o'clock, and I stayed out there for several more hours. And there came a point where something approached me came within about 50 yards of me. And at first what I heard approaching was growling, and I wondered if it was a bear, but it stopped about 50 yards from me, and it was there for about 4 minutes or so. And twice during that 4 minutes, the growling all of a sudden got louder, it rose in pitch, and then it like morphed into a cow bellowing sound. And Randy's his neighbor that has cows had them in a pasture about half a mile away at the time. So I guess, skeptics would say, well, maybe one of the cows escaped and came close to you, but cows don't growl. So
No.
And it's the weirdest thing. I was just sitting in a lawn chair there, just listening to this 50 yards from me, and I never really got scared or anything. It was like almost like I'd been put into an altered state of some kind, where I just stayed calm and sat there and listened to it. And after 4 minutes or so, it stopped, and I didn't hear footsteps or anything. It just stopped, and I didn't hear it again. And then Randy had told me to talk to the things like he does, and call him you guys like he does. So I said, hey, you guys, was that you? That was really cool. But yeah, I'm thinking that was probably a Bigfoot that was just imitating those sounds. That they can imitate cows because they hear them all the time. You can hear them in the far distance.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. Did the footsteps sound like a footstep instead? Because a cow sounds like a big deer, just. But a footstep would be like.
Yeah, I didn't hear any kind of footsteps at all.
Oh, okay.
That's because. Well, why do you? Okay, those tracks in the snow there, they start and they end. But when they did my house again, there's 4 of them. Well, how do you think that happens? It ain't because snow blew the other tracks in, or because they popped into our dimension and they popped out. Simple as that. That's what it is.
Oh,
yeah, that's a good picture for skeptics to see, because
that's what it is.
Even if you faked those tracks, I mean, you couldn't get to that spot without leaving your own tracks to make them.
Oh, there he goes. Is that the video? Now watch. Look at this.
They stop. It's insane.
And it's not no rabbit, because a rabbit have to leave tracks before or after.
And a rabbit couldn't jump perpendicular either.
No. So, I mean, that's what they are. When people start realizing and
look
accepting
at
that, right.
Holy shit, I didn't realize it was that. Oh my gosh.
That's what I'm saying. No, when people start realizing that's what they are and accept that, they'll get a lot farther with them, because they'll look at it in a different way. That's what I want to educate people on.
That's like MK Davis level evidence right there you got.
Yes.
I didn't realize. I just watched the first little bit. I thought you were just showing the tracks. I didn't realize you were showing, 10 yards where they stopped.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. I've got other pictures like that. Tracks start and they end. Not because they jumped in a tree or the wind blew the snow over. None of that. That's what they can do. That's not even weird. It's what they can do. That's what they are.
Have you had any more portals out there?
I've never seen a portal, but I've seen a cloaking Sasquatch this year. No, I guess it would have to be 2023 in the fall.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see a lot of it. It looked just like the movie Predator is what it looked like. I'm walking back after my gifting area I'm walking back towards the river, and in the woods there, I seen it. It was huge. I don't know, 10 feet tall, whatever it was, but I could see through it. And I seen it maybe for a second, and then it was gone. But I seen it, the whole body outlined. Just like the Predator, you could kind of see through it, but same, exactly the same. So now, every time I've seen Sasquatch, sorry, what?
So it was translucent. You could see things behind it.
I could see things behind it, yes.
So it wasn't like a polar bear. That's what I was trying to do.
No, and every time I've seen Sasquatch, I've seen him 9 times. It's when I'm not trying to see him. I wasn't trying to see no I was just walking back towards the river doing. I was looking for deer sheds. What I was doing, or deer signs. What I was doing, not deer sheds because it wasn't winter yet. So, what else did we got? Oh, Mike, why don't you tell them about when you were in a camp at our place there and your cooler? What happened to your cooler? They don't know about that one.
Yeah, I had a campsite set up about 100 yards away from the campfire area, and you couldn't see the campsite from the fire. And a bunch of us were sitting by the fire, just kind of hanging out, and I started to get hungry. So I walked over to my campsite and got my cooler that had some food in it, and I was going to make a sandwich, brought it back to the fire pit, and pulled out this plastic jar of mayonnaise, and I looked at it and went, I don't remember there being a dent in this jar. And I set that down, and then I took out this pack of bologna that I had, and same thing. There were finger marks pressed into on one side of the bologna and a big thumbprint on the other side, like something had reached in there and squeezed those couple of things, and then put them back and closed the lid again. And there was also cheese and bread in there that didn't seem to have been touched. And they didn't eat anything, but they might have picked it up and sniffed it and put it back in there.
Examine it.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of cooler was it? Like a Yeti with the snap-on lid?
I think it's an igloo cooler, red and white one.
Also, it just had like the open up regular lid.
Did it have latches on the lid?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yes, it does. I know which one you had.
Yeah.
And a
I was
bear
thinking
will
like
go,
one of the Yeti ones had that big rubber thing. Yeah.
Yeah, a bear will open a cooler, but it's not going to close the lid for you again, and it's going to eat whatever's in there.
Usually destroys stuff too.
Yeah, it will.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What you had the Spam? One of y'all had the Spam get eaten and put back or something. Who was that?
Wasn't me. Was it you?
Might have been the same story. Might just be confused.
I had some Spam in a cooler, and that was another time I looked in my cooler, and I had opened the Spam to make a sandwich and then put it back in the cooler, and I put the lid back in the cooler. And after we found the campsite had been visited, the lid from the Spam was on the ground, like 10 feet away. They'd taken it out and looked at it and just tossed it. So I kept that. It's in my freezer, just in case they licked it or something.
Now, depending on what kind of mayonnaise it was, I don't agree with that at all. But some mayonnaise, yeah. He said the fact that Sasquatch didn't want to eat the bologna and the mayonnaise tells you something about processed foods in America. He ate the Spam though. Sasquatch may be one of those weird spoiled kids that don't like to eat anything but chicken nuggets.
And I'll tell you something about my peanut butter. I went through 300 jars of peanut butter last year, and yeah, bear do get some of them, and raccoons. But when a bear and a raccoon gets a peanut butter jar, it totally ripped up. The caps are bit up, chewed on, and all that. And I find those jars. Most of the time, I don't find the Sasquatch ones. And when I do find them, they'll take them and put them upside down in a bush of a tree. They look like they went through a dishwasher. It's because they don't sit there and lick the jar of peanut butter like some animal. They take it to where we can't go and then bring it back. And it's like they washed it, what it looks like. Because there's no residue. When I find like a raccoon gets one and it's bit up some, there's residue of peanut butter inside the jar. It's zerily. It looked like I went through a dishwasher. Perfect.
You're saying it wasn't like tongues or anything else. It was just like clean,
like it was washed out, and the lids are perfect. And now they're still putting lids down. So maybe this year so far, I'll start since the beginning of March. Must be like 25 or 30 jars of peanut butter I've gone through.
I just had a thought. What if you took a piece of plywood and made like a simple design, like a smiley face, and tell him to make a design, and then at the end of it, you tack them down and sell it as Sasquatch art, like with the peanut butter lids. I'm not being facetious or anything. I'm just thinking about how cool that, how they make elephants paint stuff at the zoo and auction off their slobby like a big Sasquatch smiley face.
I know I told you this story before, but they don't like something with eyes. You remember that one?
Mm-hmm. The dolls.
Yeah. Should I say it again?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, and one time I put a stuffed animal, little stuffed bear, kid's bear, little thing, out by where my peanut butter area is and stuff, by some of my little trinkets, and all my activity stopped. It stopped for about a week, and I'm wondering why. The only thing that was different was that stuffed bear with the eyes. I took that out of there, and my activity all started up. Then that chalkboard you see out, that eraser board you see out there now, I drew my name. I drew a little stick man with eyes. Same thing. All my activity stopped again. And I erased that a few days, and then I erased that stick man thing out of there. It all started up again. So that's how I come to that conclusion.
That's wild.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like you could tie it back to cave paintings or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. So I don't put stuffed animals out there anymore.
Yeah. When it comes to like I'm trying to think here, the things that people hypothesize about them, what's the one thing that you just, every time you hear it, gets on your nerves that people talk about besides them being a hidden ape? Like
People that are going around, people that hear what gets me, people that are going around to these conferences, they're getting their $3,000-$4,000 to talk about Sasquatch and they've never seen one. That's what gets me irritated.
Oh yeah.
And they've never seen one, so how can they be authority in one? They don't know what the heck they're talking about. They've never seen one. I have activity all the time. I know what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's what gets me. Without mentioning names, I won't do that.
Oh, yeah. Don't do that.
No. I'm not going to mention names this time. But be like me being authority on your house. I've never seen your house. I can't be an authority on your house. I've never seen it.
Don't know where the bathroom is. Where's the bathroom? Clearly, it's down the hall.
Is it? Yeah.
I'll tell you the one things I hear from people who are saying they're not, for lack of a better term, woo-woo, is like there's no evidence of other animals on Earth doing it. So why would that particular thing do it? And you're pretty much taking the stage that they're not from here, obviously, so they don't have to apply to those rules.
Exactly right. They told me. I mean, I'm not giving an opinion, just guessing something out of the air. That's what I've been told. This is my experiences here. My experiences this is my experiences. Just because somebody else hasn't had the experiences doesn't mean I'm wrong. And they're right. I'm not wrong. I know I'm not wrong. Now, I'm not trying to jam all my evidence on somebody's throat, but I do want to educate people what they really are, because if you believe what I'm saying, it makes sense. If you believe the other thing, it doesn't make any sense. That they're just some animal come across a Bering land bridge. What doesn't make no sense.
Hidden Gigantopithecus.
Right. How did tracks start and end in the snow? Especially when they're in an open field. How did that happen? There's no trees there to jump in. They're not an ape. They're not an ape. And when I go out in the woods, I guess you know the story, but I'll say it again.
Yeah.
They like venison. I brought venison out in the state land, freezer burn. I brought apples and I brought a jar of peanut butter. I put a camera on this tree facing that food right there. I put a camera the opposite way facing that food and this camera. Each camera's facing each other. Each camera's facing the food. And I said, okay, you guys, I want you to take this camera here and I want you to make it not work. I mean, never make it work. I want you to ruin it and twist it. I said, on this next camera, I want a picture of me that I set the camera up. I want a picture of deer, bear, and ravens going through here. Then do your magic. I don't want no pictures of you taking the food, nothing. Then when I come back to get the camera, I want a picture of me. So I waited a few days. I go back there. Guess what? This camera is twisted, and it doesn't work to this day. But the SD card was still good, and so were the batteries. They made it not work. On that camera, there was a picture. When I get the SD card back home, there was a picture of me on the camera setting it up. There was a picture of deer, bear, and ravens going through there. There was no picture of them taking apples or the venison or the peanut butter. Nothing. It was just gone. And there was a picture of me when I picked the camera up. Now, there's no big Sasquatch hiding behind a tree. And they're listening to me because they weren't there. It's going to sound crazy, but they can listen to me without being on our earth as we know it. Otherwise, how would that happen?
Mm-hmm. It's like they're following you around behind the curtain.
Right. Yep. And how come sometimes I'll go out there and I'll think about something. Mike don't even know about this. I don't tell everybody everything. I'll think about something like put an X in my trail. I'll think about it and it happens. So
Yeah. Was it you that said you saw it materialize on the security camera, and then it disappeared off your phone?
yes,
Yeah.
the SRA was getting worried about all this weird stuff happening here. So they, for a gift, I let them come here quite a bit. They gave me some security cameras. So we had one security camera, and it would be hooked to our email. I get email on my phone, and had it looking out the bedroom window facing the east. One morning, my phone goes off. And it's a notification from that camera. I look at it. Oh my God. Terry, you got to look at that. There's a dog for me, and I can see through this dog. Got like a husky face, but I can see through the body.
Oh, yeah, I saw that one.
Yeah, and I get ready to go like the hand, and my phone goes off again. Oh my God, Terry, there's a Sasquatch on here. It's massive, huge. And I'm really excited about it. I go, you got to see this. I go like this, and my phone goes dead. Oh, my phone goes dead. I go plug it into the charger. It pops on 75% charge. That picture is gone. That picture is gone. But the
That's
dog,
the craziest thing.
yeah. Do you have a picture of that dog thing?
I'd have to look at it on your page there.
Yeah. But yeah. And they've hit my house before and said my name.
You hear them talking to
Yeah, they said my name. And there's nobody out there. But I could see the big handprint where they hit the house. That's the first time they've ever hit the house. That's a few years ago. Mike would probably know the date over better than me.
I'd have to look it up, but I've got everything written down.
Yeah. But anyway, that's what I want to educate people on. They're flesh and blood. They leave hair and all that, but they're more than that. That's the thing. They're more than that.
Is there instance where they've died here? Like,
no.
Can they die here? I mean, I've heard them get hit by a truck before or shot.
I don't know that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give opinion because I have no idea.
I'm thinking like,
yeah,
like even if they can go, maybe if they get killed, they just kind of bait off.
Yeah. And maybe there's two different kinds. I don't know that part.
Some that are stuck here.
I just know what I got going on here.
Yeah. You never know it. If something can come here regularly, you don't tell them what else can too.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, who knows what can come here just one time and leave and just make somebody seem like, well, I saw a giant cat face person, and just there it leaves again.
Yeah. No, they've been seen 28 times here. I've seen them. Well, if you want to count that cloaking thing, I've seen them 10 times then. But they've been seen 28 times altogether, including mine, with different people I've let come here.
The cloaked one would be number 29.
Or then they've been seen 29 then. I've seen them 10 times then. I've seen them come out of portal. I've seen them form out of an orb. I've seen all that stuff. And I've had people with me that have seen the same thing. It's not just me seeing it.
That portal story is the craziest one.
Isn't it?
It may be one of my favorite stories. Somebody else said something similar one time.
Did they? You have new people that listen on your podcast now that need to hear that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it can be like the Bert Kreischer Russian story. You can tell it again because it's a classic.
Me and John go back to the state land, close to my original gifting area. It's maybe 30, 40 yards away, but we're in the woods. And my deer stand is one of them homemade things that only made for one person. You got a chair in there. So John brings a brand new camera, brand new SD card, brand new lithium batteries. We put it through the tree. We put some peanut butter down and some apples. We make sure it takes a picture of us for the timestamp. We go into our tree and we're set in there. And I got to kind of stand, it's so dark out, I can't even see him, but we're right shoulders touching each other. And about 11 o'clock, I'm just guessing the yard, it's 30 yards away. I see this doorway looking thing. It's huge, like 3 doorways wide and way taller than that. And it's shimmering like the northern lights, kind of reddish, greenish, orangish, yellowish, bluish like. And I take my glasses off. I'm looking at it, rub my eyes. Am I seeing that? Yeah, I'm seeing that. And I say to John, you see that? He said, yeah, he'd been watching it too. All of a sudden, 2 big orbs. I can't move my other arm because I had shoulder surgery. 2 big orbs come out of it. but they're walking because we can hear the leaves crunching in their steps. But it's like an orange form, kind of orangey, like a ball of fire kind of looking color.
How big around were those orbs? I meant to ask you that before.
Oh, big like this. Big.
Like a hula hoop?
Yeah, maybe a little bigger. Yeah, like a
Yeah.
hula hoop. Yes. And they go over towards where that camera and stuff is at. And then maybe a minute or so, they're over there and they come back again. But the first one's not in orb form. I can see the cone head, the red eyes, the shoulders, the arms swinging back and forth, and hear the steps in the leaves. The other one's in the orb form. They go to that doorway, they go into that doorway, and it's all gone. We sat there for a little bit in amazement. We finally get down, walk over. The apples are gone, the peanut butter is gone, the batteries are drained dry, and when we get home, the SD card is wiped clean. There's nothing on it. Not us, nothing. Exactly what they can do. How they do it, I don't know, but it's what they can do.
They were scorching earth with that experience.
Yeah. See, that's another reason. Yeah, another reason. I've always believed that they were more than that, and I really believe it when they told me now. And here's another thing: you know Robin Haynes? Have you had her on your show?
Oh yeah, remember I introduced you, kind of, sort of.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I reached out to her, and she did some whatever she can do. She gave me 3 names of them: Rassophilia, Darawima, and Sushi. Or 3 of them here. Sushi, that's what she said. Yeah. The other day I was back in the woods, and I called her when I was back in there, wrote to her. She said there's a couple by you. There's some farther away, but they're by you. I left a thing of candy bar there and some peanut butter. Oh, here's another thing. When that guy was at my house and we had the tree break and all that stuff, he left some chocolate there, part of a candy bar there. That next night he woke up in a dream with the red Sasquatch, what we've seen here, talking about chocolate to him. He said it was really clear. So I've been leaving chocolate out there. No, I have not really got anything, any kind of nothing like that yet. But I've been leaving candy bar out there. But I haven't gone out there lately. It's quite a walk to go back there, and I just haven't been time to go out there right now. But I don't do recorders. I don't do cameras. I ain't doing any of that stuff because people are doing that or trying to get evidence.
Mm-hmm.
They're not really getting evidence.
Now you said
like
earlier,
I'm getting activity like I'm getting. So that I'm not doing any of that stuff, and I never will. And I won't let anybody do it either because I know they're here.
You made a promise to them, didn't you?
I did. And I'll let people come here. Maybe they'll get some experience with them, but that's what I won't let anybody do more than that.
You said earlier that you won't get any physical evidence because of the nature of what they are, but you said there was another kind of evidence you can get. Now, what were you saying about that?
Okay, there will never be worldly evidence like scientists want, to prove
the body.
Right, but if people do what I'm doing, they'll get evidence for themselves, and enough people do that, that'll be worldly evidence. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, I misunderstood you when you're saying, "What is he talking?"
Yeah, that's what I meant. The worldly evidence will be enough people like myself get the evidence like I have. That'll be worldly evidence. Now, I don't mean this in a smart way. There's people that want to believe, and then there's believers. Wannabe believers, they might want to come here and see if they can see one so they can believe, but they've never seen one. And then there's believers like Mike, and then there's knowers. I'm a knower because I know what they are, and I've had lots of activity with them, and I still get an activity. That's the difference. That's just my take on it. That's what I call it now.
Sorry, Mike. I had you muted. Your reverb in there. What were you saying?
Okay. Well, I consider myself a knower too because I did see one when I was 8 years old. And
oh yeah, Mike did. Yeah.
Trying for years.
Mike said, "Hold up."
No, Mike. Believers are like you. A knower is somebody that's had the interaction with them. That's the difference. One step up. You got to get one, but when you keep coming here, you'll get that next step.
I hope so.
Yeah, because they interact with me. What I mean as a knower, I ask them to do things and they do it. That's the difference.
That's crazy. You got any? So I remember last time we talked, you were just starting to get into the breaking the ice with them, that you could make them do things, and you went out there and talked. Are you attempting to go another step up from that, besides where you're at now?
Yeah, the other step would
I don't know
be-
what the next step would be.
Yeah, I don't know what it'd be. I guess the next step would be me going out there at nighttime by my area and sitting there. But I don't know if I want to do that or not. I don't know. Here's what's stopping me. There's a lot of bear around here, and I've been seeing a cougar lately. And if I go out by my area and sit there really quiet, and a mother bear comes in and she's hungry, and I get between her and the cubs, that could be a disaster for me. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
It could be. And I don't want to have to shoot a mother bear and be wounded, or me get wounded and it's got cubs. And that's what's stopping me.
Yeah, because everybody's a bear knower.
Yeah.
We know
Here's
they're-
another thing. Sasquatch can see whatever they want to look. I can only see where a flashlight goes if I'm sitting on the deer stand when it's totally dark out. So I'm contradicting myself. I say I'm not scared of them, but I'm a little bit scared that way.
Well, you should be.
And I am.
That's-
Yeah.
I heard somebody say that. If you go meet somebody that has ever had an experience that's not scared, they're lying about it.
Exactly right. And I say I am. I think Mike's braver that way than I am. He sits out there by himself.
Well, like I
Mike is
said,
like Steve Irwin.
when that one approached me within 50 yards, doing its growling and cow imitation, at least that's what I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
I was surprised how it didn't scare me and how calm I stayed. And I think I had actually been put into some kind of altered state.
Yeah.
Or shock.
Yeah, I mean, my
All
heart
right.
didn't even start pounding or anything.
Didn't it? No.
Did I tell you about what happened to me when it came to what I thought I was about to have an experience on a research expedition a few months ago?
Mm-mm.
I had I guess what you would call a stocking cap over my ears, and I had the facial hair and everything, and I was breathing on an air mattress, and every time I breathed, the stocking cap would rub over my ears, and I would hear shh, shh, and so I'm like, and I'd woken up at 3:33 in the morning, which you know what that means, the devil. And I'm sitting there, and I woke up in the middle of the woods, miles from anybody, on a Bigfoot expedition, and I hear shh, shh, and I'm breathing. I just noticed it. And I'm thinking, what's about to happen? And I freaked out for like a second, and I realized, nope, they don't kill people. I'm with a bunch of folks. If it happens, it happens. And I'm just preparing for him, listening, and just every time I'm breathing. Then I heard somebody go, "Ruff." And it was the guy in the tent next to me snoring.
Oh.
and so when I heard the rough sound, I moved and realized it was my toboggan on my stocking cap on my ears doing that, and I kind of had a sigh of relief.
Yeah.
But for 1 minute, I was having an encounter, and I had to know I had to experience how I felt about that.
Yeah. I'm just trying to take my shirt off. It's
Yeah,
hot.
see,
There.
people listening on the audio right now are really like wondering what's going on.
Yeah. So, what else, Mike? Can you tell? Oh, there's somebody.
Yeah, Lionel said, with all the technology, have you ever tried to see if there was a cure for cancer or anything that could help mankind on a massive scale?
No, I never.
Things
have.
like that. Just ask them if they know anything they can help mankind with. That may be the next step. That may be your
Maybe
next
so.
step you're looking for, bridging the gap
I'll do it tomorrow when I go out there.
or something.
I'll do that tomorrow. I'll ask that question tomorrow.
Has any?
And I'll be the first one to say this is weird, and I agree that it's weird, but it's true. And I don't know why I have so much going on. Besides that, they're trusting me, but I don't know why it's all here.
Have you ever had a near-death experience or died? Have I asked that to you before?
Here's what I had one time. I'll just tell you the quick story. In 1977, when I was still in high school, Mom had rented a motorhome for the family to go to Florida to go to Disney World for Christmas. And my friend wanted me to go skiing on a little ski hill in Grand Rapids, Minnesota. She said, "Don't go, you could get hurt." And you know how kids are. I didn't listen. I'm going anyways. I didn't listen to her. So I went skiing, and I wasn't no good at it anyways. I should have been on the bunny hill. I went down a little harder hill, and I hit some ice, and I flew in the air. And I landed on my back like that. And here's what I remember. I remember being at total peace. Like it was the greatest feeling I've ever had in my life. I can't even explain how great the feeling was. I don't know how long I was out like that, but then I came to. My friends were standing around me. I didn't even know who they were. And then I threw up. But I walked down the hill, and the first aid guy said, "Oh, you just knocked the wind out of you. You're going to be fine." But then I started getting pains right here. I said, "Something's wrong. Better bring me to the hospital. Something's not right." And when they figured it out, I had already lost 2.5 pints of blood.
Oh my gosh!
My spleen. So maybe that's what that was. I don't know, but it was the greatest feeling I've ever had. I've never had a feeling, even to this day, that great.
That sounds like 2 seconds of being dead for a minute.
That's what it sounds like.
I mean, the reason I asked that is I've been around recently some, people who claim to be knowers. I trust them and I listen to them respectfully. And all of them had near-death experiences and other things, like I've been struck by lightning, things like, and I mean, it's 100% across the board. Anybody that has. So that's why I asked. I didn't know. I thought about that because I knew I was going to have you on this weekend when they were talking about it. I said, I've never asked Randy that. And you may have told me that before. Like I vaguely remember something, but it's been August of 2022. And so maybe a quick recap.
No, the she squashes, they can do that. What's this here?
He said they can operate portals and have knowledge about diseases. Yeah, that may be how the Native Americans were so healthy. Maybe so. Yeah, that's stuff I don't know about. They can do that remote viewing. You know what the remote viewing is. Yeah. One time they hadn't been here yet. They did a remote viewing of the woods here, and they see me walking in the woods. Told me what I was wearing. Told me about this woods and everything. They don't even know about these woods here. And then they said they did another time. They seen 20 of them here. They get down and do that Reiki. They do the Reiki thing and get all calm.
Yeah, I know what you're talking. They didn't do it here. They didn't do it here that I know of. But they've been here several times now. They both seen them. Two of them have seen them here now, down the power line where I see them. Yeah,
that's right, because she saw it next to the tape.
Yep.
On the band. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
I say that I'm like a Randy Bauer fan club over here. I know all the ins and I know the details.
And to be honest with you, I don't think I'll let. How can I say this? I don't think I'll let no more documentaries be filmed or anything. I don't want to ruin what I got going on. I like what I got going on.
Yeah, I don't know what else they could pull off of it anyway.
Yeah, and
it's not like they're going to get something.
No.
As far as
no,
that one was fun because I was like I knew you. I know Jason for all intents and purposes. I know the she squatchers. I was like, heck yeah, these guys. So, Mike, you got anything else going on, Mike? You got any projects coming up?
I'm working on a new book, and it's almost finished, actually. I'm going to try and finish it by the end of this month. It's called Bigfoot, the Minnesota Scene, where I did interviews with a bunch of other researchers from around the state. And also the last chapter, which is also going to be the longest chapter, is going to be an update on everything that's been going on at Randy's place. And,
it seems like it's increasing. Man, if the next step could be Randy just getting with them and asking them about like the ethereal part of it, like where you come from, can you help humanity, that kind of thing. Some kind of answer, so some kind of threads you could pull, because right now it's just like, oh, it's an ape and tigers do infrasound. That's all you got.
You know about the infrasound happened to Brian Glenn, don't you? About the hand and all that stuff. I was trying to recreate it. We got a picture of a hand, a young one.
Oh yeah. You definitely
yeah, I did tell you that, didn't I?
Definitely remember the hand.
Yeah. Well, anyways, Doug Hychek wanted me to go out there and recreate it. So I had Tanner with me and Brian Glenn. He's got white beard and kind of bald, and Tanner's reddish. And I never had taken that camera off that tree back there. And I said, don't you guys ever go in front of this tree. Let me do it. And I had my computer back there. But I was doing it wrong. I was being dumb about it. I should have got behind the tree and reached my hand around like this, because that's how the hand's kind of like that. You can see the fingers and the fingernails. But I was laying in front of the tree going like that. I kept getting my body in there. And after I did my last picture, getting ready to take the SD card out, Brian Glenn says, oh, my God, I'm just sick. Just something overcome him really bad, he said. Well, I was fine. Tanner was fine. So I said, nothing I can do. You know, I said to myself, nothing I can do about it right now. I took the SD card out, put it in a computer, and there's a Sasquatch standing by. You can see the shoulders and arm going down half the body. It was standing right by us. And that is what it is, because it would have been a bear. A bear's not going to come up and stand by us. And it would have been a bear. We'd have seen it. We didn't see it. Only the cameras got the picture of it.
You have that picture?
Yeah, it's on my other computer. Yes, I do. I don't have it on this computer here to show it to you. I'll dig it, find it.
That'd be a cool one to have, because you got some good. Some of the stuff you have on your page is like this stuff is like MK Davis level. Some of it, especially that footprints.
Yeah, I know it. That's good.
Well, this has been a great recap, and I'm glad you came back on. I'll have to do it more than once a year because I might check in with Randy.
Sure. Yeah.
You should just retire and be my co-host every once in a while.
Okay.
I'll get some wild people on. You start grilling them. Oh, this guy's full of shit.
Yeah. I'm not scared to speak up.
Thanks, Mike, for coming, and thanks, Randy, for coming.
Yep.
We'll go ahead and wrap up. Thanks, Lionel, and everybody for being in the chat. Everyone, please share it out if you enjoyed it, because this has been a great time and first live I've done in a while, and I think I needed it. Now I'm going to go have some food.
Okay.
All right. Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks, Randy and Mike.
Yep,
Been amazing.
Yep. I never didn't believe in Bigfoot. I never believed in it. I didn't believe in it. I never gave it any thought.
They kept wood knocking back and forth to each other, and it was in a pattern.
Barn owls don't typically throw rocks.
I come across these tracks.
Sasquatch is still not on my mind.